Hello, fellow futures traders. My name is Curtis White from Beyond Backtesting, and today I'm going to be sharing how to pass futures prop trials part 2. Right? I'm going to be sharing my strategies, the strategies I'm going to be looking at, strategies I'm going to be trying, be sharing some of my experiences as well. So it's going to be great for that. If you're interested in trying to pass these prop trials, if you're really interested in meta strategies, the mental aspect of it, I'm going to be sharing some observations I had today. Came really close to passing some accounts and some larger accounts. Before I get started, let me just share that Apex Trader Funding is having one of their best discounts of all time that I'm aware of. Certainly for the year, 80% off first month, 80% off each recurring month, half price resets, $40 reset, $125 across the board activation fee regardless of account size, and their larger accounts are all priced the same right now. So there's discounts on some of those larger accounts. It's a great opportunity if you've been looking to pick up some trials. Use my affiliate link down below to take advantage of this opportunity. This sale only lasts through I think 2/19. So take advantage of it. Don't delay. Don't wait. If you're interested in getting some of these deals, again, it's half price. It's 80% off first month, 80% off recurring month, half price resets. That's $40, $125 activation fee across the board. Use my affiliate link down below. Take advantage of that while it exists. Now I do know, I do want to say that there have been concerns about payouts and things. I do have a PA account. It's not near payout, but I'll definitely share my experiences, whatever with regards to payouts, whatever experience I have when I get to that point. Now, so today I have a 50K PA account. I also have a personal account as well. But I've never passed, and I've passed multiple 50K accounts, but I've never passed 150K the 150K account. And today I came within $500 of passing one. I came within $2,000. I've done a couple of resets today, which is not, I got questions. That's part of my strategy. But came within $500 of passing 150K. If you're interested in this account, this was a little bit harder to pass than the 50K accounts because you have a 5K drawdown and a 9K profit target, and passing this on one trade is going to be really tough because if you think about it, you're going to need trade fees, and also with the open drawdown, you're probably only going to be able to risk 4K on this trade of stop loss. You don't have to put a stop on it, but that's really your true drawdown. It's like 4K from probably your entry if you're assuming, and you're going to have to really return over a 2 to 1 on this, all right, to pass it one trade. My trades, I don't have that trade that I feel like really confident I can do that in one trade. So I'm going to be sharing some of my strategies, some of my experiences today. Obviously, it's very frustrating being at being within $500 of passing and not. And if these accounts you can trade these accounts so large, you get 17 contracts. Like putting up $500 as a scalp, a mini scalp, it's nothing. And so to be with that close and lose the whole account is very. That's why I made this video. Making this video, one of the reasons is to share some strategies to think about how we would approach this with meta strategies, and I'll be sharing some of that. So if you're interested in how that happened, like how did I lose the account? This was the day to day. Now this is one of the things I'm watching. Everything I'm watching, I'm also watching the tape. But in this box, I was looking to get long for just a little pop up to get my $500. I figured we'd have some kind of a reversal somewhere in this box. We didn't, and so I didn't put it on at max size. I think I put 5 contracts here. I added a couple here. Then it went below this box, and while I didn't have a stop in, it got me to the tick right here, and it was off to the races again. The market just has an uncanny way of doing that, so very frustrating, especially since I didn't put the stop in. Like, how can it still find the exact stop, even though if you don't put the stop in, it finds your account balance. Having said that, I was also a little thing that makes it a little bit better, not a lot better, but a little bit better. It was that I was profitable in my personal futures account today, trading smaller size, trading without these tight stops. So I did put up a little bit of money on my personal futures account on similar trade ideas. So that makes it a little bit better. But so the question is, there's some other opportunities today, and the question is how we avoid this. When we get so close to passing, what are some meta strategies? What are some strategies? And I'm going to be sharing, so we have to look at the math here. You have 5K to 9K, so this is going to be very difficult to pass on one trade. Okay, you're going to have a trade that does more than 2 to 1. You got to be careful of that trailing open drawdown, or it's going to get you. So realistically, your first trade, you're probably going to put up 4K to 5K. It's going to be very difficult to put up more than 4 to 5K with a 4K, risk limit on a trade. Um, maybe you can do better if you're very patient or you have a very good trade. But even if you do better, right, you put 6 or 7, you're still not passing one trade. So I think with these accounts, these larger accounts, I could be wrong, but I think it's to try to pass from one trade is a little bit unless you have that trade that you know that can give you that risk, that reward to risk, probably not going to happen. So what we're trying to do is when we think about these props, you don't want to think about like real money accounts. And you certainly don't want to mix in your real money trade with these how you trade these props. So you have to really keep them separate. They're very different things. Don't believe anyone who says you have to scale up on your futures trading. You need to trade size. All these things, it's all just BS. Okay, don't believe that stuff, or you will do financial damage. Now the props, yes, these are different. This is different stuff. It's a different risk reward, and so one of the strategies I've used in the past the 50K accounts was to say, okay, the first trade, I take it max size. Okay, basically the trade is going to work, or it's going to blow the account, and with a target to put up 50 to 80% of my account balance, and then right. So you look at what in terms of the progress. Like you obviously have the trailing drawdown, but in terms of the progress towards your profit target, because I let this trade right, I let this trade run. I got long somewhere here. I let it run all the way against me, until it blew up the account. I only needed $500, so basically one of the methods I found in the past that helped me is to change gears. But even if we don't change gears, let me share this. So one of the reasons, think about one of the reasons that I blew the account today was also because there was a lot of movement, a lot of energy in the market, and so there was opportunity to both make money and lose money, and that's kind of relevant. And one thing I found is myself and many traders, the first trade you take, whether it doesn't have to be on the day, but within a given time unit, it's going to be your best trade. It's going to be the best trade you'll take for most traders. And anything you do, at least for myself, I found almost anything I do after that can be a mistake. So if I get short, I think it's running too far, try to take a little reversal long. It's almost always a mistake, right? Whatever I do, it's going to be a mistake. That first trade is usually I've seen the change in the market, and you have to learn to see these changes in the market. When does it really change, versus when when is it? And usually, if you're in early, you can take profit and it can keep running, and you can be out, right? Versus if you're in, you don't want to be in late, you don't want to be in the middle. There's certain concepts here. The market also tends to have a memory, right? So if it's made a big move up, you feel like, okay, I lost a lot of profit. Then it can also make a big move back down, right? In terms of a time span. So for that reason, I'm going to say, if one of the things that would have helped me today, I would have been probably better psychologically if I had rotated my accounts. So I'm going to say this: one strategy is to rotate your your account. So if you take the trade and let's say your 150K account, you put up what you put up in it on your first trade. You go max size. You say you put up 4K. Then you shut that account down. Shut that account down for the day. Okay, and what that's going to do is it's going to leave you in a better state of mind. And the next day, the next time you come and trade, you're going to be looking for that best trade again, and you're more likely to get a really good trade. And that means you might even pass in 2 trades, right? Might not. The second thing we want to address is getting 80% to the target and losing it all on one trade. Statistically, we can say that trade was likely to work, but the reality is I was giving back a lot more progress on that trade than I did on my first trade. I put more time into it. I put more trades into it. So for that reason, I'm going to say on your once you get fit to a set point towards your target, so say 50 to 80% towards your profit target for the account, you switch gears, right? You got to switch gears. Might be 85%. I mean, you switch gears, and then you're going to use, a fixed risk per trade. Use a fixed risk per trade. Okay. And so, for example, if I had lost, I could have with only needing to put up $500. Might have been $700. I could have took a couple losses, and still got one good trade and passed. I could have easily lost. Even lost here. I could have lost here. Got this last winner. I could have passed. But I took myself out of the market, out of the game with that one trade. So So let's recap. The strategy I'm going to look at going forward is, first trade, max size. Don't take forever to try to pass these things, right? With the goal of putting up 50% to 80% of the balance. Then I'm going to shut that down. I'm not going to trade anymore on that account. If I want to keep trading, I'll go to another account, rotate to another account. You can rotate to another account, okay? And then when I come back the next day, I'm going to be looking at, depending on where I got, right, either likely switching to a fixed risk per trade, because especially if I'm closer to the 80%, then there is I don't want to have to get back all that progress, and I can take more shots, and still pass. I could have 2 or 3 shots and still be likely to pass. I only need to put up $1,000. So that's kind of the I think a meta strategy that could work well on these larger accounts. Now there are other strategies, right? I talked about some other strategies in my previous video. If you want to go take a look at that, but just recap this really quickly. One way is that you can copy trade. Register for many prop accounts, right? Copy trade them at modest size, right? And then take longer to pass, lower, presumably a lower risk of drawdown if you're consistent. For most of the pit traders, so I don't think this is a great idea because most traders aren't to that consistency level. But most traders can find one good trade, right? If you can find one good trade or a couple good trades, then you can pass. So this is the copy trade, right? So say one and done, right? That's kind of the model where you take one trade. With a 5K to 9K, that can be difficult. Not impossible, but it can be difficult, right? If it's 50K, maybe it's a little more likely because you have 2.5K with 3K. That's almost a 1-to-1. So, right. So that is actually, it's a little bit more than a 1-to-1, right? So it's a little more doable, right? The other way is what I call what do I call this? Basically the one and switch gears, right? One and switch gears, right? And this is the half and done, right? You get halfway there, and then you're done with you're not done, but you take max size to get halfway to put half the profit targets, then you trade normally, right? And that can may not pass in a day, but you can pass. It's going to really decrease the amount of time required to pass. Now, the other thing I'm going to be doing in my personal trading in order to do this, what you really want to know is your statistics, like how much it costs you to pass, what your odds and your probability of passing, and what your probability of getting a payout, because these things can determine how you want to trade these live accounts. Like one way is to copy trade, one way is to try to preserve the account, trade small, and use that account to learn and grow on. And that's kind of how I'm treating the PA account I have right now, because I've blown some PA accounts in the past. I'm trading small, just trying to preserve it, trying to stay alive, right? Basically trying to survive. And that's a great strategy until you can to manage your risk, because you're going to have that to become a real a really profitable trader. However, if you know your past probabilities, you can trade aggressively. So I'll have a video on that. But there's other ways of trading your PA accounts without trading them in a conservative way. You may want to trade some conservative, some more aggressively. But obviously, I'm going to be practicing a lot more. I think a lot of this is getting. It's going to be scratching. It's easier to scratch, I find, when the numbers are smaller, and I'm better at it. When I see these big numbers, it wasn't part of my strategy, but at the same time, if you can see when a trade's going against you and you can scratch it, then you can reduce your losses, right? Your size of your losses. So I'm going to be practicing and on the simulator, see what my pass rate I can get on the simulator, because I don't even know. But that's something you want to know. You want to know that you want to know and see that you can do this in the simulator before you ideally before you go too far into it, right? That said, there's discounts. That's why I wanted to take advantage of it now. But now's a great time to practice, and so that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be practicing putting on the size, putting on how many contracts I can trade with these. With the NQ, again, that's going to be a new thing in my trading. I've been historically just an ES trader, but I'm seeing that the movements in the NQ are much more energetic, although that can work both for and against you, because they're also energetically against you, right? So I hope this helps. Again, strategies to pass futures prop tryouts. I think this is how I passed the previous 50K account, and I was trying to do the one and done, and it didn't work for me. Again, if you can find if you have a trade that puts up a huge reward to risk, maybe that's the way you do it. But I feel like this rotation, shutting it down for the day, some pretty decent advice, as well as the changing gears makes a lot of sense. Not to give back all that progress on one trade. Hope it helps.